being at Aldine.
Get that? If you can repeat it, please.
I'm sorry, I didn't say it clear.
No, it's my hearing, believe me.
So number 9 for the ESY program, I know one of our parents expressed concern for the location being at Aldine.
Get that? If you can repeat it, please.
I'm sorry.
Moving to another school. I will discuss it with the Director of Special Services to see if that is a possibility. I know during the summer, we do have issues with using different buildings because of construction work and things like that happen in some buildings, but I would definitely look into it.
Okay.
All right.
Can I motion to table 9?
Second.
I think, well, actually, I know that we need to approve this as a mandated program. So table is not, we can discuss the change of location with having, you're approving the program, you're not approving the location. That's what I'm saying. All right. I wouldn't recommend it.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Baimonte. Susan Carstone,
Yes.
Dr. Brittany Kirkland,
Yes.
Cindy Mago,
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr,
Yes.
Chris Monroe,
Yes.
Constance Quintella, President Harms.
Yes, extension on number 4, summer camp staff listing. That motion carries. Under education, agenda items 11 through 13. 11, harassment, intimidation, bullying incidents. 12, field trip request. 13, revision of the 2022-2023 school calendar. Do I have a motion?
Jen.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any discussion?
Yes, for the harassment, intimidation, bullying incident, number 017 that a parent mentioned, because she wants to have it appealed, is there any way that we can have it separated out to be tabled until that process is done?
The appeal timeline has passed. That would have been before this meeting.
Mm,
Any other discussion?
One more question. Is there anything else that we can do to address it?
We can certainly have a meeting. As I mentioned to the parent, I will also have the district HIP coordinator attend this meeting.
Can we still separate it out from the collective number 11?
I didn't hear it.
That I don't know if we can do that.
What's that?
To separate that one from the others.
Can we separate this 017 from the rest of them?
So,
What date was it?
Hmm?
Do you know the date of the policy?
no, I don't have those dates. They were approved, the last meeting, which was February. They were reviewed. They will be approved tonight. There's a 2-step. Yeah, so it's review and then affirm.
There's a question, so we're just verifying dates. Okay, we can't separate it. So at this time, I'll take a roll call, please.
Vice President Baimonte,
Yes.
Susan Carstone,
Yes.
Dr. Brittany Kirkland,
No.
Cindy Mago,
No.
Jennifer McCarr,
No.
Chris Monroe,
No.
Constance Quintella,
No.
President Harms.
Yes.
Motion didn't pass.
So okay, we have to find, okay. Okay. So the motion does not carry. It is, it'll have to be reviewed for our next meeting. Under business item, agenda items 14 through 22 and addenda items 3 through 5. 14, 2023, 2024 tentative budget approval. Fifteen, approval of bills. 16, approval of minutes. 17, early childhood planning budgets submittal. 18, Roselle Park Middle School door replacement change order. 19, use of buildings and grounds.
Are we able to go back?
20, annual consumption, comprehensive financial report, ACFR. 21, grant application. 22, submission of ROD grant project documents to New Jersey Department of Education. Addenda items 3, try up for hockey team. 4, use of buildings and grounds. 5, additional approval of bills. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on any item?
President Harms, discussion on F and E and F. I think the soccer club wants us to table those two until to work out the schedule for the use of the field. Page 17.
Well, E and double F, I think Chris is speaking about.
You make a motion?
Making a motion to table double E and
Second.
double F.
Guys, if you table it and we vote and we don't vote on it, they don't get those days. They're looking for more days. So you want to take away the days from them?
The next meeting is April 25th.
April's 25th is the next meeting.
Yeah, it's the way to.
Okay, you don't have to wait. Okay. Is that what you want?
Well, he wants to abstain, right? Vote, he can vote no. No.
Well, you can vote no instead of abstain, of tabling it.
Just to be clear, the next meeting is not until April 24th. Is that okay? 25th, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, so let's get back to what we're getting here. What is it we want to do on, I guess we're talking about, Chris, we're talking about item 19, right? The whole item 19, and then you're gonna take the ones out of there.
Double E and double F for the soccer club.
Okay.
And Harms on page 17, the lowercase double E and lowercase double F, where the Roselle Park Soccer Club has the two items.
Right, okay. It's just awful hard to hear, and I think it's because there's this fan right behind us. It is terrible to hear, and I apologize, but when we talk soft into it, I'm sorry, I didn't, because I'm not hearing it. I just wanted to, yeah, it's, we're talking. 17. Okay, you were talking about these two here. You,
That's double E and double F.
Okay, so-
those because they want to discuss it until the next meeting.
well, I apologize. We're just making sure we do the right thing.
Mr. Harms or President Harms? So we and the audience understand, are you two discussing whether to table the soccer club situation?
That's
Okay,
okay.
okay,
That's what we're trying to do right now to find out if what we're gonna do with it. And we're just talking to the board member who brought up to pull it, to find out what's the reason for pulling it. If they're looking for more time, there's no more time to give. There's no field to give. So I'm not sure to table it is gonna do any benefit for them on that particular area of finding more time for them to be on the field. If they wanted, they can check with Mr. Foy again. For some reason, I think there's a Saturday open for more time. I mean, you can speak after. Again, that's what they can do, if they wanted to do that. So I'm just trying to benefit.
or maybe another facilities meeting, maybe to take
Well,
the time away.
But
Here.
the facilities meetings, again, I'm not, we give these business to the athletic director. The athletic director takes all the applications that we receive from all entities within the community that want to use our fields. At that time, he does what he has to do with it because he's actually in charge of the fields. The board is not in charge of the fields. So again, with that, I'm not sure what we can do more than go to Mr. Foy and have Mr. Foy, from what I understand, Mr. Foy has done what I think he's had to do. Again, somebody told me today that Saturday is open, and so I'm suggesting I'm just saying it out loud here that on there's Saturdays, if the fields need to be used and they can get extra time in here, they can do that. Again, I'm not sure what we can do if we table it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? To table it. So at that time. So we all right? We're going to vote. Okay. At this time, I'm on the call, roll call, please. What? Even. Oh, okay. Okay, so you want it. Right. So I have to have the second removed and then then you have to remove the motion. I have to go in reverse. Okay, so, okay. So do I say that? I'll pull the motion, but you'll have to ask the person who seconded to pull their motion back. Okay. So you want to do that, Chris? Ask, say you're gonna pull your motion back. I don't know. Who seconded? Who seconded? Who? Cindy? Okay. You seconded? You seconded. Okay. Okay. So at this point, we're gonna, for now, I understand, we're pulling the motion to pull these, to table these two. So what I'm asking is the person who the board member who seconded the motion to table these, will you remove? Yes or no?
Yes, I will remove my second.
Okay. So then I go to the board member who made the motion. Do you remove your motion?
Yes, I removed the motion.
Thank you. Now we will go back to the original motion and second to approve the agenda items that were mentioned. At this time, I will have a roll call, please.
Vice President Bymonte,
Yes.
Susan Carstone,
Yes.
Dr. Brittany Kirkland,
Yes.
Cindy Maggle,
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr.
Yes, with an abstention from number 14.
Okay. Chris Monroe,
Yes.
Constance Quintella. President Harms.
Yes, motion carries.
President Harms, before we go further, the section under education, agenda items 11 through 13, I'm going to act as an eraser for my colleagues. 11 is the HIV incidents that I believe they wanted to say no to. They didn't realize when they said no, it was for 11, 12, and 13. So is there a way that we can go back and re-vote on those items 11, 12, and 13? Because I hear from my colleagues, they didn't realize they were saying no to all three items. And we really want the field trip request to go through and the revision of the 2022, 2023 school calendar. So is there a way to re-vote on that?
Right, they voted. Okay. Who voted in the negative? Nobody. Huh? Oh, okay. Okay, so. Okay, so a board member that voted in the negative for items 11, 12, and 13 can make a motion to reconsider. No. To reconsider a vote on them particular items. And then we have to have a second by a board member that had a negative vote to it. You
I
understand?
motion to re-vote on education agenda items 12 and 13.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Okay. Okay, hold on, relax. Okay, at this point, we have a motion to reconsider to a revote on items 11, 12, and 13. And we have a motion and we have a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Vice President Bymonte,
Yes.
Susan Carstone,
Yes to all three.
Doc,
Right. We're doing all three. Yes, we're
Yes.
doing all three.
Okay.
We're doing all three.
Dr. Brittany Kirkland,
Yes, but no to 11. Yeah, a no to a number 11.
Cindy Maggle,
No to 11, yes to 12 and 13.
Jennifer McCarr.
Yes, with an abstention from number 11.
Chris Monroe,
No to 11, yes to 12 and 13.
Constance Quintella,
No to 11, yes to 12 and 13.
President Harms.
Yes on all three. Okay, as we move on the agenda, continuing business, do we have any continuing business? Do we have any new business? Hearing none, we will go in our second public participation. Anyone wishing to speak, please come up, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Good evening again, board members. Max Gregory, 217 Charlotte Terrace. Just following up on your decisions. I do find it a little disappointing because I'm not sure how involved you are, but at the grassroots level in this town, everybody works together. Everybody talks to each other. I have constant contact with the leaders that run baseball, the leaders that run football. We all work together. It stops when we get to you guys and when we get to Mr. Foy. I put in for what we needed at the minimum level because I appreciate that we currently do not have the infrastructure to support what we need. Developing that infrastructure is your job. You need to represent our kids. When these kids came up here today to receive their awards, and I was sat in that chair and I watched them and I saw them come up, 70%, I would say, of those kids are part of our program. These are your kids. Provide for them. Advocate for them. Don't just sit there and not do anything. Make some fields. Do some proper work to make this viable. Right now, we have a program with 350 kids. We have 3 hours on a Monday night and 3 hours on a Wednesday night. How do we make that happen? There's parents here that are part of this club and they appreciate what we go through. You don't know how frustrating this is because this is all about our children. We're not doing this for anything else. And we need you guys to be our advocates and to support us. These are Board of Ed kids. These are parents that fund this school system, that pay their taxes, and you're giving them nothing. It's not good enough. And so I spoke to Mr. Foy today when I saw that. He blamed you guys. During the meeting, you blamed him. You guys need to figure out how you handle this. But leaving as it is not going to work. So you need to be accountable to all those parents, because if you don't fix it by the next board meeting, there's going to be a line of people here waiting to speak to you.
Thank you.
Edward Gates, 710 Hamilton Place, Roselle Park. Good evening again. Actually, I've been noticing something, you know, when somebody speak and say something you like and agree with, you get cheerful and thank you at the end, and you speak and contact, you know, come to the office or come talk to me after the meeting. But when somebody speaks something you don't like and you just don't even hear thank you. So that's not nice. Should be appreciating this, and that we all speak out of caring. And, you know, it's healthy to disagree. Okay. One more thing regarding my complaint with Principal Costa. Tonight I'm closing this complaint because my middle school daughter is going to Union County Vocational Technical School, magnet school. No need to continue in the complaint, but she must be careful. She can cancel open house without sending a notification. Let me tell you, when I went to the open house in these schools, very impressive, very organized, very respectful. They have over 9 schools. The principal, all the principals and the superintendent in the middle, greeting everyone, welcoming everyone, answering all the questions. And even when I had to go to a tour in a school and I had a question, the superintendent told me to go, have the tour, and come back, you'll find me here to answer your question. And that's what exactly happened. She was waiting for me to answer my questions. We should have this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Marissa Cintron, 425 Walnut Street. I want to take the chance to thank you guys for everything that you do. There's a lot of negative things for some reason being said about all of the members of the Board of Education. Most of them have no reason to be said besides people just want attention. You guys are all doing great. It's recognized. And keep doing the good work. We thank you.
Thank you.
Jennifer Reyes, 518 Hemlock Street. I'm here today to show support for Robert Gordon Elementary School and our principal, Mrs. Hanau. As a parent who's been in the district for the past 4 years and a PTA e-board member, my experience with the teachers and the principal has been great thus far. Mrs. Hanau's leadership and positive attitude has shined through and through. I appreciate her dedication to the students' education and their well-being. Throughout the years and changes within this time period, I have seen a leader who has paid attention to the direction of the winds and has adjusted the sails. She's invested and genuinely cares about the education of our children. We've gone from traditional learning to homeschooling through a pandemic, which was an unfamiliar territory for everyone. And I truly feel that Mrs. Hanau and her staff worked so hard to make sure that our students excelled as much as they could till this day. I don't have to be an educator to know that it doesn't happen overnight or with just sheer luck. It takes great leadership, knowledge, passion, and dedication, all of which I feel Mrs. Hanau has. When I send my child to school, I feel confident in knowing that she's in a safe learning space and a welcoming environment. I've always said it takes a village, and I'm grateful to have Mrs. Hanau a part of ours. Thank you, Mrs. Hanau, for your dedication and your efforts to make our school a great one. Good night.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Paiva. I live at 124 Union Road. I wanted to mention at the last Board of Ed meeting, there were 20 teachers present from Robert Gordon here to support Mrs. Hanau, and I don't know if that was put in the record and wanted to mention. I again wanted to pledge my support to Mrs. Hanau as she's managed to increase student and parent engagement. She's brought in various programs, improved culture of teaching and learning, aligning the district goals with the appropriate focus on data-informed decision-making. Reading levels have increased, with 26 kids increasing 1 to 2 levels, and 27 kids have increased 3 to 4 levels, and 5 kids have increased so much that they're not even in a reading level program, needing assistance. I also wanted to discuss, everyone keeps talking about putting children first, but saying it is different than actually doing it. I'd like to know how the Board of Ed will handle making sure everyone in this district has their rights protected when it's clear that some are anti-inclusion, anti-minority, anti-equality, and anti-LGBTQA+. If these anti-views are publicly made by members on social media, how will the board address it to be sure that all children, teachers, and staff are protected? And will that member be required to resign by the board, since their personal views will not be for 100% of our children, staff, and teachers? I also wanted to mention, at the last meeting, it was brought up by someone that confidential information is being leaked by the board to non-members. When I got up to talk and I mentioned that I was continuing to volunteer at Robert Gordon, an e-board member felt the need, someone who was in attendance, to give my personal PTA membership information to a non-e-board member. I find that completely unacceptable. And I think not only PTA members on the e-board, but also Board of Ed members need to understand discretion and confidentiality. My information should not have been given out. And if my dues were not recorded, that person should have come to me directly, whoever was handling the memberships, not discuss it with everybody here. That's not anybody's business but my own. So I should have been pulled aside and said, hey, I didn't see your PTA memberships recorded for Robert Gordon. Instead, I was told with an attitude, go pay your damn dues, which I did that night when I realized my check was never cashed in September when it was given to the attention of Ms. Vitale. Again, I just wanted to come and show my support for Mrs. Hanau and address a few things. And also, hearing the agenda, would like to question the HIB complaints, number 11, why everyone might have been a no on that vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodis, 152 Berwyn Street. As many of you know, I have run meetings as PTA president for a couple schools. I attend almost monthly the town meetings and often these meetings. And I'm confused as why you can't pull one item off your agenda. I've watched in the town, a board, a member, a councilman will pull an item and say, I want to vote on this separately. And that's voted on separately, and then they vote on the rest. Robert's rules are pretty clear. When you've brought up a question and you want to remove it, you can remove your question. You can say, I want to withdraw that. I'm not sure why you can't do that. You have a parent who's very upset about a bullying issue. That should have been pulled. That should have been discussed. I understand there's laws and dates, but that should have been pulled. That should have been allowed to be voted down, just that part. I'm not sure why that is. I would wonder if maybe the attorney could research that. This meeting was different. I will say that. This was a different meeting. I'm proud of you women speaking up. I'm proud of you questioning. But I think we need to get back to following some order and maybe knowing what the order is. Thank you.
Michael Ann Regan, 134 Sheridan Avenue. Good evening. I have serious concerns regarding the social media posts of a board member. These posts are targeted attacks on a vulnerable community. Board members should not be making social media posts that hurt our kids in any way. How can someone who doesn't care about our kids' well-being be a member of the RPBOE? Board members are supposed to be there to support all students, not just the ones they deem worthy of their support. This board member has made statements on many different occasions expressing false narratives about transgender people. One such post says, "Stop transing our children." Another post talks about how public schools make children transgender. If you do not support public schools, then please resign from the board. According to the Trevor Project, LGBTQ youth are not inherently prone to suicide risk because of their sexual orientation or gender identity, but rather placed at higher risk because of how they are mistreated and stigmatized in society. LGBTQ youth are 4 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers. The Trevor Project estimates that more than 1.8 million LGBTQ youth seriously consider suicide each year in the US, and at least one attempts suicide every 45 seconds. The BOE should be working hard to prevent bullying, and yet we have a board member that promotes hate while denigrating parents, children, and community members. Your words matter. Our children matter. Keeping our children alive matters. As they say, if there is one Nazi at a table with 4 other people, you have 5 Nazis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marielle Pasqua and my address is 319 Chestnut Street. Tonight I'm here because of the obligation and responsibility I have to use my voice and to stand up for the students in my hometown, especially as a lifelong resident, co-chair of the Roselle Park Diversity and Inclusion Committee, and a 2004 alumna of our school system myself. More so, I'm here tonight to call for accountability for board member Makara's repeated social media attacks on LGBTQ community, drag artists, and especially on trans youth. I'm both confused and disgusted by the fact that she somehow holds a seat on this board and perplexed that she still has any allies on it left to defend and enable her. There is nothing defensible about attacking our youth, let alone youth who already have targets on their back simply because they found the courage to identify themselves in a way that's true to them. Oh, and Ms. Makar, teaching critical race theory does not make our young white male students, and I quote, maybe move towards something like transgender or whatever, as you stated in your 2021 interview on the fundamentalist blog, The Nader Narrative. This board has ignored repeated calls for accountability as well as questions asking Ms. Makar to please clarify her discriminatory comments. Since she refuses to do so, let me myself clarify to you, Ms. Makar. that you were voted in to take accountability in serving our youth, as well as to respond to the community's questions and concerns, and not go home to tweet that you'll pray for us. We don't need that. As there seems to be some fascination regarding the trans agenda amongst board members, let me also emphasize to you and anyone present here tonight that the trans agenda is simply to have an average life expectancy. That is their agenda, staying alive. It is not to groom your children. It is not to influence the sexuality or gender identity of anyone's child. It takes a certain level of malicious ignorance in 2023 to keep pretending that these markers of our identities are by choice. To any parents repeating Ms. McCarr's messages of hatred in your homes, understand this. One day, your own child may come to realize that they don't identify as the person you originally thought they were. And when they hear you repeating this hatred, they'll at best be worried and ashamed, knowing that you probably won't accept them. At worst, they could be missing from your family's dinner table on the holidays in the future if they ultimately decide to take themselves out of the equation by committing suicide. How many other ways could they feel knowing that the people who matter the most to them aren't actually safe to come out to? I'm here today to let those children know that there are people in this community who will always love and support them despite all of the adult enemies out here bullying them, and on the Board of Education of all places. It is not a request that we start to do better by our youth. It is a demand, and it needs to start today, right now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Odalis Mendez. I live at 610 Chester Ave. I am a parent.
Chris, can you help her talk into the mic, please? Thank you. We just want to be able to hear you. That's all.
Hello, hello. Okay. I'm a parent of a transgender child. After looking at social media today, I was disgusted and heartbroken. My child tried to commit suicide in 2012 when they came out as transgender. To look at a post of one of your members talking down about my child, saying things like, no one is born in the wrong body. How dare you? How dare you come and judge my child? This is a difficult time for parents and a difficult time for our children. They're trying to find themselves. They do not need adults trying to tell them that what they're feeling and what they're going through is wrong. Just because your belief is one thing doesn't mean that that's what we believe or that's what our children believe. So I am so upset and disgusted. I've been in this district and I love my town. My kids have gone to school at Aldine, at the middle school, at the high school. I am lucky that my child feels accepted and wanted and understood at the high school level. They have great counselors, but to hear an adult that is here making decisions for our schools is allowed. I really hope you guys wake up, because what's happening is not right. And if you know the laws in the state of New Jersey, it is illegal to ban or discriminate against children that are LGBT and prefer to be called a certain name in their school. So for that person to sit there and bash what we do as parents and what our children are doing or what our schools are doing, I'm an educator. I can guarantee you, I do not go and try to brainwash or influence my students. Everybody has their belief. We're all from different walks of life. Everybody has a right to believe what they want, but don't push your beliefs on our children and our town.
Hi, Katie McDermott, 730 Galloping Hill Road. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but there are a couple of things that came up that I wanted to comment on. Thank you for all that you do. For those in the audience, if you've attended meetings in the past, you've heard me talk. And I promise you that I have never stood up here and asked the Board of Education to do better for attention. I have severe social anxiety, but I stuff it down really, really deep because I need to advocate for my child and for all the children. I wanted to mention that the next meeting of the Roselle Park CPAG is this Thursday, March 16th at 6:30. Meeting information can be found on our Facebook page or by emailing roselleparkcpag@gmail.com. These comments are just as me personally, not as a CPAG co-leader. I wanted to take a moment to thank Mr. Foy. I know Mr. Gregory was upset with Mr. Foy, but my older son attends UCVTS. Mrs. Carlstrom has heard the story. He was at the bus stop in the morning, slipped on black ice, cracked his head open, tried to get on the bus. The bus driver was like, nope, escorted him to the high school where Mr. Foy and the staff took really good care of him. And the SRO officer took really good care of me and kept me calm. So I just wanted, we should give props when people do a good job. So thank you to the high school staff and to Mr. Foy. I didn't realize that I'm not trying not to cry. I didn't realize that there was a problem with the soccer fields. My younger son has participated in the top soccer program since its inception. The positive impact it has had on him is immeasurable. He knows he's different. He does, he just does. But when he steps on that soccer pitch, he is just like every other little kid that wants to run around and kick that soccer ball. And I can email all of you the most amazing picture of him smiling and so happy on a soccer field. So I really, really hope that there can be something done so that top soccer can continue. One last thing, I talk a lot about inclusion. You've heard me say up here that you can't talk about diversity and inclusion without talking about disability. Well, it goes both ways. You can't talk about disability inclusion without including other marginalized groups. Children deserve to see themselves in books, in movies, in the teachers who are such a vital part of their lives. The same goes for all children, regardless of disability, race, religion, sexual orientation, or gender. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark Fernandez, 114 Locust Street. We are gathered tonight as parents, neighbors, friends, to stand up for the rights of all the children and families in our district. Shouldn't matter what the makeup of your family is, who you pray to, or who you love. I love my children more than anyone. My life's mission since becoming a father for the first time 29 years ago is to ensure my children's happiness and success. In the same frame of thought, I respect the value of parents, neighbors, and their children I encounter on a daily basis. The currently constituted board does not have the same mission. It's shown the inability to come together and to have a conversation about the problems we're having in our district. It's more concerned with political rhetoric and power. This board and its majority have told the residents of Roselle Park that their 5 votes will only benefit the things that they want and not for the things that are best for our district. As a former board member, I've already seen the mistakes that have been made, which will directly affect every taxpayer in Roselle Park. On March 1st, Robert Gordon hosted a Read Across America night. It was a great event for our school, hosted by Principal Hanau and our great PTA. Parents attended, as did our superintendent and several school board members, except the member assigned to the PTA. On this night, the Robert Gordon PTA principal offered parents an opportunity to answer a short survey. That survey consisted of 2 questions. Are you happy with your child's experience at Robert Gordon? Or do you think your child's getting a high quality education? On the first question that night, 27 people answered, 24 people responded yes, and 3 people responded no. To the question, do you think your child's high quality education? 22 people answered yes, and 5 people answered no. Since not every parent had the access to the first survey, it was resent with additional questions on March 7th. On the 7th, 64 parents responded. 59 responded yes to the question, are you happy with your experience? And 59 people expressed that they were happy with their child's education. It's clear to me that the vast majority of parents that are sending their children to Robert Gordon have a very positive view of their children's experience and learning at school led by Principal Hanau. I believe the principal deserves an opportunity to continue to lead and grow at Robert Gordon. She's proven with the program she's implemented that the students' learning is important to her. I've also believed that the school has shown parents a willingness to be open to ideas to allow children to be good citizens. Programs like cooking and robotic programs that should be expanded to include more children. Ms. Hanau has also implemented programs recognizing children who need an extra push so that children aren't left behind. I only ask the board for a fair and unbiased review of the work this principal has done, and I think her staff input should be considered. Many of these school board members ran on a platform of voices for parents, but it only seems it's voices for some.
Thank you. At this time, I will close the public portion. Is there anything that a board member would like to say or mention before I ask for a motion to adjourn?
President Harms, I noticed that the next meeting will be held at the high school auditorium now that the musical will be completed. And I'm very happy because the acoustics there are much better than here. It's been very difficult to hear my own colleagues as well as the people speaking. So I look forward to our next meeting at the high school.
I agree 100%. And I apologize if some members in the audience got up and spoke and we were it is very hard to hear. I'm not sure why. But again, thank you, Ms. Carson. I'm glad we're getting back into high school. Absolutely right. Again, at this time, if there's nothing else, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Just a reminder, it's Tuesday, April 25th is our next meeting at 6 p.m. at the high school. Thank you and good, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night. Be careful when you're walking outside. It might be slippery.